Welcome to the Ask Dr. Deanna show. I'm Dr. Deanna Holdren, your host. Join me weekly as I cover various health-related lifestyle medicine topics that you get to request. This show is for anyone who wants to proactively improve their health position. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. I am very excited about our next series. Our next series is a back to school series, and we've got so many people who are headed back to school, whether you've got little ones in elementary school, you've got older ones in middle school or high school, or even you've got somebody headed off to college, or maybe you're even a college student yourself. There are certain things that we can do that can basically help us have the very best year that we can have, that can help us to perform the best from an academic standpoint, and also help to keep us healthy and well. So those are some of the things that we will be covering in the next 3 weeks as we cover our Back to School series. First of all, let's talk a little bit about kind of what to expect. We've got some young moms, some new moms, parents who are ready for their child to go off to kindergarten, maybe for the very first time. And it's going to be hard, okay? Some of you are going to be thrilled, okay? But some of you, it's going to be hard to send your little one off to school. But one thing that I always like for parents to know, especially of younger kids, is that kids, your young child, their immune system is still developing. And unfortunately, what that means is that they're going to catch most likely a lot of viruses, a lot of colds. They're going to bring a lot of things home. And on average, the average number is about 8 viruses per year. But there are certain things that we can do to kind of help ensure that maybe we don't get sick as often. And then there are also things that we can do to help improve academically, like rest and eating the proper diet and all those sorts of things. So let's start off with the immune system. And, one of the things that I love encouraging parents to do is, first of all, making sure that your child is nutritionally sound, because that is going to make a huge difference when it comes to the immune system and how well the immune system functions. So things like, making sure that they are getting, adequate rest. Okay. Rest is a huge part of that. I think structure is really, really important, and making sure that they're getting the amount of sleep that they need, and then that they're eating the right things, basically pouring the right fuel, if you will, into their little system. So the right fuel is typically loaded with vitamins and minerals. It's, what I call a whole food, nutrient dense, clean diet. Lots of vegetables, lots of fruits. I want to encourage everybody, if you've got, a younger child, especially, pack their lunch, be sure to include some vegetables in there, a lot of, raw fruits and so forth, because it does make a difference in terms of their performance. If you can get them to eat breakfast, a little something before they go, that's best too. A lot of these kids go all day long. They may have a snack, they may not. Sometimes lunch, could be as early as 10:30 in the morning. It could be as late as 1 o'clock. And, that's a big difference. So kind of keep that in mind as you are looking at, how do I best serve my child as they're headed back to school? Again, I did a series on sleep, or I did a podcast on sleep earlier. Go back and check that out, because we actually go into number of hours that are typically recommended at the different ages. And, you can just use that as a guide. Of course, everybody's different. One child may need more than that. One child may need less. But if your child is falling asleep on the school bus on the way home, or, really cranky when they come home, then chances are they're probably not getting quite what they need. And, another great thing after school is, when the kids are coming in from school, having some fresh vegetables, something that's ready for them to grab as an after school snack that's a healthy after school snack. Those are the things that we can control. A lot of times kids get food at school that maybe we don't have as much control over, whether it's a party situation or a classroom that hands out candy, or kids swapping lunches, during lunch, or whatever it may be. But what we can control is what's in our home. And so that would be breakfast. That would be that after school snack. And, if your kid loves potato chips, you might try roasting some broccoli. It kind of takes on a nutty flavor, sort of like a potato chip would, and just have that ready. And a lot of kids will just gobble that stuff up. So the nutrition is important. The rest is important. I think that bedtimes, especially for those little ones, become really, really important. So getting into routine is going to make a big difference. And then all of that's going to help their immune system. And then on top of that, you might consider even just a children's multivitamin, a children's vitamin D supplementation. Many, many times, as we see, children getting sick, as we see them, having issues, a lot of times kids will, start to be a little stir crazy in the winter, especially if you're in the Midwest where there's snow and they're indoors a lot and so forth. And oftentimes the issue there is they're just not getting sun exposure. They've got a little bit of vitamin D deficiency. And because of that, their immune system drops low. So especially if you're in an area like that, you want to keep that in mind and just make sure that you are supplementing because it will make a difference. So the food, the structure, the bedtime, the immune system, the rest, all of that, so important for your little one especially, but it carries through to the older kids too. And I think it's fantastic if you can, you might have a child who does not want to eat breakfast. Maybe they're just not into it or whatever. But even if you can get them to, maybe drink a protein shake or something before they go, it's going to make a difference in terms of how their day goes. So think about that. Older kids need lots of rest or good quality rest as well. So encourage them to, wind down at a reasonable hour, limit the screen time, because that makes such a difference as well. And, basically make sure that they are getting what they need so that they can perform at optimal levels. Sometimes I will have older kids come, in to see me. And one of the things that I found is that if you are struggling with malnutrition, and, we cover this in many of the previous episodes, but if you're struggling with malnutrition, you're not going to have the best academic performance that you could have. And basically what we know is that, again, if your gut is not healthy, so that you're not absorbing the nutrients that you're putting in, or your diet is just horrible, so you're not getting the nutrients that you need. What happens is when you don't give your body what it needs, it can't function at its optimal level. And that is exactly what we see with a lot of these older kids, especially who are really eating, a lot of packaged, a lot of processed, a lot of drive-through type foods. And so then what happens is, you're low in B vitamins, you're low in vitamins that actually run your brain, okay? Not just vitamins, but other micronutrients, omega-3s, things like that. Those are the things that help run your brain and help it to work as best as it can. And so what happens is the performance declines. Take that into consideration as you are preparing for this school year. What can you do to help your child function at their very best level possible? And that's not just from an academic standpoint. It's also plays over into behavior. So many times I've seen behavior issues that really are rooted in malnutrition. So it's, academic, it's behavior, but it's also physical performance. If you've got a student athlete, there's so much that you can do to help support their body. I always say, all student athletes should really be taking an omega-3 supplement every day. Omega-3s are wonderful to help prevent concussions. And then also fantastic vitamin D supplement as well. If you look at most sports nutrition programs, even in student athletes, they're going to recommend at the very minimum an omega-3 and a vitamin D supplement. So those are just some of the things that we can do as parents that can basically help our students to perform at their, highest level, optimal levels, and to feel good. We want everybody to be healthy, to be happy, to live a vibrant life, and to be able to, really accomplish whatever it is that they have as their goal. And so I just want to encourage you. We're going to continue to focus on back to school and just great tips, things that we can do as parents to make a difference across the board, whether it's an elementary student just starting out in kindergarten, or whether you've got a college student or you are a college student. You'll want to plug in over the next couple of weeks as we complete the Back to School series. So thanks so much for joining me. I know you're going to love it. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that episode. For more information, visit me at deannaholdren.com. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dr. Deanna Holdren. I really want to hear from you, so message me. I love taking your messages and creating topics from them. Please rate, review, subscribe, and share my show with those who have an interest in health and wellness. Thank you for tuning in, and see you next week.